Hi, my name is Alexandra Henny, and I'm going to talk about my culture. So for this project, I'm going to follow the American culture, even though I was born in Peru, but I'm more comfortable with the U.S. culture because that's most of my life I spent was in the U.S. So I grew up in Brooklyn, and then I moved to the Hamptons, Long Island, when I was about 15, 16 years old. And none of my family is really crazy religious except for maybe some of my uncles, but my family other than that is pretty free and open to all religions. So it's always been my decision since I was little what kind of religion I want to follow. So I started following Catholic. I was Catholic at first, but then now as I'm getting older, I can't really choose where I belong, so I decided to just not follow any religion, at least as of now. I've always been in I've always been really involved with my grades and sports and music, and it's always been encouraged a lot by my family, especially my grandma and my dad. Like, they've always thought that grades is probably the number one thing in life, and also exploring my talent, so they always sign me up for singing things and dance stuff, and they've always really wanted me to kind of really get to know myself and really get to know what I'm good at. So now that I'm in college, it's easier for me to know, do I want to continue with singing? Do I want to continue with dance? Do I want to, pretty much whatever I want. So they kind of just helped me realize who I really am as I got older. That was pretty much their main goal of me growing up. The girl that I'm going to be working with in this project is called Celine Deng, and she's from China. She's been here for about 3.5 years. She said that in China, there's definitely a lot more things than here. So she did say that a lot of the stores are open way later than here, and they're all walking distance. So I feel like that's very different from my culture, because for me, because where the place specifically where I grew up, I had to pretty much drive everywhere. For me to drive to even a movie theater, it would be like 15 minutes away. For me to drive to the beach, another 15 minutes. So I grew up always having a car nearby, always having to use, when I lived in Brooklyn, public transportation, the bus, the train, or getting rides from friends or taxis. And now that I live in the Hamptons, I have a car. I have multiple cars because depending on the weather and depending where I go. So if I drive on the beach, I gotta use a bigger car than when I drive in the street. So for Celine, it's definitely different coming here because she needed to learn how to use public transportation. She learned how to drive here also because in China, where she lived in her town, she didn't really need a car. She just walked everywhere. The weather was definitely different from here too, like in the winter. She said her family isn't religious at all. And she also says that she does miss China only because she thinks the food is a lot better there. She doesn't really enjoy the food here in the U.S. that much, even though she likes some things, but she definitely thinks Chinese food has a large variety, and there's definitely a lot of more options over there. I've never been interested in Chinese culture. I don't know why. I think it's just because I've never really been faced with anyone from China or any internationals from China. I know where I'm from, I'm faced with a lot of Latinos, so I'm faced with a lot of them that just arrived to the U.S., and that's pretty much the only thing I've really been accustomed to growing up. So I've never really had an interest, so I think seeing learning about the kind of things that she likes and the things that she does in China, I think it's definitely gonna make me curious. So maybe I would probably want to travel there someday and stuff like that, instead of always wanting to travel to Europe because my family's European, or travel to different parts of South America because my friends are from there. So I think by becoming friends with her, it definitely opened up my mind to somewhere new. I think this will definitely make me more comfortable with the culture, because I know here in Michigan State there are a lot of internationals that are from China and Korea and Japan, and I never really feel that comfortable speaking to them. Let's say I need help with something, or I'm rushing and need to go ahead of them, and I've never really felt comfortable talking to them just because I don't really know. And I know they don't speak English well, and I know because I can hear them speak sometimes their native language, so I don't really know how well they speak English. I don't really know anything about them or their culture, so it's kind of hard for me to relate and feel comfortable with them compared to Americans here that I know, and right away I'm not scared to talk to them or anything. So I think this definitely will make me feel more comfortable with people from her country and from anywhere else, because I think it'll definitely make me feel more open-minded and kind of relate to them in a certain way. So I'm excited, and hopefully it all goes well. So, bye.